The head coach is Brian Grastorf. He played at Niskayuna. He's in his first season with the Silver Warriors, and he joins us here on Big Board Sports on ESPN Radio. Brian, Chris Sonorato, and Tom Gozlowski here in for Roger. First off, thank you for taking the time this morning. I'm sure you're getting plenty of these media requests after last night. Can you take us back to Wednesday when you met with your players and how you decided to do what you ended up doing last night as a team?
Yeah, first, thanks for having me on, guys. When I found out, heard kids talking about wanting to take a knee during the national anthem. First thing I did was I did go to administration. Went to Mr. Rickert, Mr. Galuli, made sure that they were aware of what was going on, and we would discuss the proper strategies to going about this and educating the players. As I told the kids, and I've always told the kids, it's my job as a coach to push you guys on the football field, push you off the football field to be as successful and grow up as young men. It's not my job, and it's a law to not tell them what to do regarding the national anthem or even the Pledge of Allegiance at school. We can't force them to stand for the pledge. We can't force them to stand for the national anthem, and that's obviously something that's been around for over 70 years, and I do respect that. But it is my job to educate them and tell them, what possible repercussions could be, understand why they are doing it, making sure their why is strong enough for them to do this. And we just discussed as a team. We took a good amount of time this week during practice to go over this and make sure it's understood and make sure kids were comfortable with it. And as long as I felt their why was strong enough, I gave them other avenues to express their feelings and express their just like they would as kneeling. And they are receptive to that, and I hope they do follow those avenues, whether it is volunteering or spending time with different groups. And I believe they will do that, but they still felt strongly enough that they wanted to do this. And I told them that anything they do, I have their back on the football field, in the classroom, beyond school, throughout the rest of their life. I have their back no matter what it is. They're my team, they're my family, and they know that, and I know they have my back as well. So I think it's a tough decision for a high school kid to do, to make a decision like this and show how they feel. So I am proud of them. It's not a right or wrong decision. It's not anything. It's not my job to tell them what they should or shouldn't do, but I can educate them like I would on the football field or in the classroom or in life.
Let's go back to that talk you had with administration. Was there any hesitancy? Was there pushback when you first approached them and said, this may be happening this upcoming week?
No, there was no pushback. We all understood, the rights that kids have, whether they want to, or anyone has, whether they want to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance or if they want to stand for the national anthem. And we respect that in public school, and we understand. So I went right to administration, talked to the superintendent, make sure we were taking the proper steps to educate the students and help them make the proper decisions.
Niskayuna head coach Brian Grastorf with us here on Big Board Sports 104.5, the team, ESPN Radio. Brian, as you can imagine, social media is not always kind, and it wasn't 100% across the board in favor of what some of your players did last night. Did you hear anything from the stands last night? Did anybody come up to you after the game? And how do you think your players will handle this now going forward with 3 more regular season games to go?
I told them, like anything else, you keep distractions off the field. I didn't hear anything specific. We were concentrating on the game. I was concentrating on the game. Obviously, I'm always aware and making sure that my players are in a safe situation, and they knew that. I said, before the game, if they do decide to take a knee, that we are as a team, and we will link arms, and I will with you guys as well to show unity. And whether they decide to do that or not, I will have their back, and we are a team, we're a family. And, it was obviously, it's a tough situation for anyone to be a part of, and everyone has their own opinions. So I think that's what makes it more difficult. I've tried to avoid the social media, and people have mentioned it to me, and I told them, I'm kind of staying away from that. I'm disappointed on people's reactions towards high school kids, but that's not out of my control, just like a lot of things are out of our control. And we can only go forward with what we can control, and that's what I preach to my guys.
And I think one thing that maybe gets lost in all of this is we may disagree on the topic, whatever it may be, right? But you've got players in the same locker room who believe in standing for the national anthem. There are players who want to kneel during the national anthem, and yet they're able to coexist. I mean, they're able to be teammates. They're able to be friends in the hallways, in the classrooms, whatever it may be. I understand how this can be a divisive issue, but I've long said, although I would stand for the national anthem, I'm not going to tell somebody else they shouldn't or they can't. And if we can't discuss it with some respect and civility, we won't get anywhere. There will be no progression on this topic. Brian, I appreciate you taking the time with us here this morning to kind of take us inside those meetings and to explain everybody why what went on last night went on. And honestly, more than anything, as an Ithaca guy, I mean, can we beat stinking Cortland this year, for crying out loud?
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping. So I got to believe in the Bombers. Again, new coaching staff and stuff. I'm looking forward to see them get back on track and hopefully take down the Dragons. Would be nice to see this year.
It sure would. Coach, thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it, and we'll be catching up with you next week as well, I'm sure.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.